can my mouth be smelling? Me, Adaora, who is very intentional when it comes to my oral hygiene? Adaora said to herself. Once upon a time, in the village of Udi was a beautiful girl by name Adaora. Adaora was an epitome of beauty. She was as beautiful as a blooming rose. Her smile sparkled like diamond in the sunlight. Her teeth is as white as pearls. Her tongue as pink as fresh rose petals. She was the only daughter of her parents, and she was trained in a wealthy home. Her parents loved and adored her, and all the villagers admire her beauty. They nicknamed her Mmasinachi, meaning a beauty from God. Aside from her beauty, she was very brilliant, and she graduated from the University of Nsukka at the age of 21. She graduated as a dentist with a first-class honor. With her results, her beauty, and her happy-go-lucky nature, it was easy for her to bang a high-paying job the same year she graduated. At the age of 22, the love of her life, Udoka, proposes marriage to her. Udoka was a medical doctor. He was as handsome as a movie star, as tall as an Iroko tree, and when he smiles, his dimples look so deep as a well of happiness. Will you marry me, Adaora? Will you be mine forever? With his knees set on the ground and a sparkling diamond ring on his hand. Yes, I will marry you. Yes, I want to spend the rest of my life with you, Adaora shouted excitedly in acceptance to Udoka's proposal. Then the marriage date was fixed. Everything was so perfect. Life was going so smoothly, and Adaora seems to be the happiest woman on earth. But unknown to her, her fate is going to change soon, so drastically in a way she never imagined. It was a month before her wedding. On that fateful day, Adaora visited her fiancé. Udoka was very excited to see her. He pulled her into a warm embrace. You smell so nice, Adaora, Udoka said in acknowledgement to the exquisite perfume Adaora was wearing. Adaora, also very happy, said, "Thank you." You, what is that smell? Udoka interrupted her while pushing her away. She was not even able to complete the words she was about saying. What smell? Adaora asked, moving closer to Udoka. But Udoka immediately stepped backward. Oh my gosh! Don't come closer and close that trash you called mouth. Your mouth stinks. The odor is worse than that of a public toilet. Udoka shouted at her. Adaora was confused. She was shocked, embarrassed at the same time. How can my mouth be smelling? Me, Adaora, that is very intentional when it comes to my oral hygiene. Me, a dentist who help others get rid of any dental issue, including mouth odor. This thought ran through her head, but she immediately snapped out of it when Udoka shouted, "Get out!" He wanted to ask her to get out, but instead he started coughing. He tried speaking again but could not find his voice. Adaora, on the other hand, think he was faking it. She placed her hands over her mouth and yawned and then bring it closer to her nose but could not smell any foul odor or unpleasant odor. "See, Udoka," she said firmly, "if you don't want me again, you should be bold enough to acknowledge it instead of putting on this mania hat." Udoka wanted to say something but could not find his voice. She left the room very heartbroken with tears gathered in her eyes. On her way home, she tried speaking with several people, but none of them reacted unpleasantly. She parked her car in front of a restaurant, and when she was about entering inside the restaurant, she spoke to the security man. "How are you today?" she asked. She rarely do this, but she just wanted to confirm if her mouth is truly smelly. She also did the same with the waiter and the waitress. She asked them several questions. She watched them closely to see if they would react unpleasantly, but no one reacted unpleasantly. At this point, she concluded that Udoka was just putting on an act because he was no longer interested in their relationship. Meanwhile, back at Udoka's apartment, he was finding it very difficult to talk. Anytime he opens his mouth to say something, he felt like something is stuck on his throat. So instead of speaking, he would end up coughing. He decided to take a sip of water. He yawned widely and also started chewing his mouth. All this he tried in order to relax and loosen his throat muscles, but nothing seems to be working. As a medical doctor, he tried several medications he knew, but nothing was effective. He decided to visit the hospital, but nobody have the solution for whatever he is facing right now. He decided to travel to his hometown for solution. At home that evening, Adaora fell on her mother's knee crying while she narrated everything that happened at her fiancé's place. Her parents were very shocked and angry. "I thought Udoka was a very good boy. Why would he say such hurtful words to my beautiful daughter?" her mother asked in a very angry tone. "My daughter, just forget about him. He is a loser. You are a very beautiful and hardworking girl, the most famous dentist in our village, and you have been speaking to us all this while. If there is any unpleasant odor, we would have perceived it. Just let him go, my dear daughter," her father said, trying to console her. "Okay, daddy, it really hurts. He hurts a lot, but I am not weak," she said, trying to console herself. She continued living her life, though the rumors of her marriage being called off spread like wildfire. People wonder what really happened between the couple. "They look like a match made in heaven," someone whispered. Adaora continued working. She focused on her life, her parents, and her work. And even though she still loves and missed Udoka, she promised not to allow the void he left in her life to affect her in any way. Life continues, and within the space of 6 months, she met a man called Chinedu. Chinedu was a man with a very pure heart. He was rich but uneducated. He was a businessman. That very fateful and sunny afternoon, Adaora went for a lunch break at her favorite spot. She went with a female colleague from work. Chinedu was already there, seated with some friends. Immediately the two ladies stepped inside the restaurant, Chinedu was the first to notice them. And immediately his eye fell on Adaora, the beauty walking in front of him. He was instantly mesmerized by her beauty. He was lost and speechless at Adaora's beautiful nature. It was very easy for his friends to notice how lost he was. "Chinedu, hope all is well. What is the problem?" one of them asked him while tapping him on the back. He immediately snapped out of it. "My friends, can't you see that beautiful girl going to sit over there?" he said, rubbing his head. "I'm going to make her mine. She is so beautiful. I have never seen a beautiful girl like her. I will surely marry her." And so he approached her. They exchanged contacts. Adaora did not really like him at first, but could not help but fell in love with his generosity. He takes her for shopping, showered her with present gifts at every given opportunity. As an Odogwu, he spent lavishly on her. "Ribife mmankem," he was said in Igbo language, meaning "enjoy your life, my own beauty. I will spoil you." On her birthday, he even bought a car for her as a gift. As usual, things were going so smoothly for Adaora. She was so happy, but unknown to her, something terrible is about to happen. After a few months of courting, Chinedu decided to propose to her. "Marry me Acharugo. Be the mother of my children. Mmankem." Adaora hesitated a little, but later she said yes. "I'll marry you." The wedding arrangement began, and that fateful day Chinedu came with his people to perform one of the traditional marriage rites, which is called Ego Umunna. As the elders were deliberating on the marriage matter, Chinedu sneaked out to have a little chat with his soon-to-be wife. Adaora was sitting with some of her friends in her room when he came. As soon as the friends saw him, they gave Adaora a teasing look and left. "Chinedu, what are you doing here?" Adaora asked, turning her back to him childishly. He went close to Adaora and grabbed her on her waist. "To see you, of course. I am the luckiest man in the world to have found you," he said while turning her around to face him. "Baby, man came. I came to ask you what you will want as a wedding gift," he said, looking at Adaora's beautiful face while still holding her tightly. Adaora was about answering, "My love," but before she could even complete a sentence, he pushed her away. "What is that smell? Onugirerure, how come I have not noticed this about you?" Adaora was devastated. "Not again, not again. I say cross that shit." He started coughing when he was about to stop Adaora from saying anything. He could not even finish the words. He coughed uncontrollably, drawing the attention of everyone present that day. They ran inside the room. "What is the matter, Chinedu?" A tall dark man in his 70s, Chinedu's father, asked. But as Chinedu was about saying something, he started coughing again. Adaora's mother turned to Adaora and asked, "What happened?" But Adaora could not say anything. She was still in a shock state. Since Chinedu was not able to speak, one of the elders requested Adaora's friend to bring a pen and paper. He handed it over to Chinedu, but Chinedu could neither read or write, so he threw the paper and pen away. And he looked at his father and then stretched his hand to the door while moving toward it, urging his father and his homeowner to come with him, and so they left. At this point, Adaora and even her parents realized that something is wrong with her. The news of what happened also spread like wildfire, this time even wider. People began to gossip. Some believed that she was cursed. "Do you know that the man left as a dump?" one of their neighbors said. Some said she is a witch. Some assumed she might be cursed. Adaora locked herself in a room and cried her eyes out. Her parents tried to persuade her to open the door, but it fell on a deaf ear. She was too busy crying to notice them or the banging on the door. She cried and cried and cried until she became exhausted, and until there was no more tears to shed. She cried herself to sleep. She woke up the next day as the reality of what happened the previous day struck her. Her eyes were swollen and she was having a very heavy headache. Udoka, my love, left the same way. No, something is definitely wrong. He complained of the same unpleasant odor and then the cough. These thoughts rang through her head, making her headache even worse. She took a deep breath and then went inside the bedroom, brushed her teeth, scrubbed her tongue, a routine she never misses, and then she took a warm shower and went out to meet her parents in the living room. Her parents were so relieved when they saw her. They sat together as a family and discussed the issue on ground. At the end, they concluded that whatever she is facing is not physical. This is a spiritual matter, her mother said. So they decided to look for help. They went to different deep bears and also some churches in search for solution. The Debia asked their gods for answer, but the gods were silent. The pastors asked the Lord and the God in heaven for revelation, but there was no revelation. Amidst all this, a lot of marriage proposals continue coming, but this time Adaora said no to them all. Her friend also introduced her to a man of God who collected a huge amount of money from them, claiming he had the solution. He prayed for her and gave her olive oil to drink every day. He claimed the olive oil would get rid of the spiritual mouth odor. But unknown to them, he was no man of God. He was a fake pastor. After about 2 years, she decided to give herself a chance of happiness when she met OBK. OBK was also a very wealthy man who just returned from the States in search of a wife. in his hometown Udi. His parents disapproved of the union. They tried everything. They explained to him, but everything they said fell on a deaf ears. He has fallen so deeply in love with Adaora that nothing they say makes sense to him. But just like the other men, he also lost his voice before the wedding day. At this point, Adora's whole world was shattered. She is now hopeless. Her parents felt sad seeing their daughter in this condition, but there is nothing they could do. They felt so helpless. They have tried everything they knew and could. Adaora was now a shadow of herself. She stopped walking out of shame because anytime she went out to work, people would gossip and point ends at her, and the villagers call her a witch that eats the voice of her suitors. It actually seems as if all hope is gone. Adaora could not understand why all this are happening to her. Then one day, she was sitting in the sitting room thinking of her life when someone knocked. She did not even move, and so her mother went to open the door and was shocked to see Udoka, his parents, two elderly men, and a very old man that looked like a chief priest. She ushered them in. Adaora was shocked and surprised to see her love Udoka. Udoka, what are you doing here? Udoka smiled since he is not able to speak. Adaora's mother offered them some seats, but the very old man refused to sit. Instead, he spread a mat on the floor and sat on it. Adaora called her father, who also invited some close elders, and the family sit together in discussion. Udoka's father explained why they came. Udoka's father explained why they came. He started, "When Udoka, my son, came to the village, he was in a very bad state. He could not even speak, and so using a sheet of paper, he wrote everything that transpired." He paused and then continued. "I knew immediately that something was not right. What bad odor could make a man suddenly speechless? I asked myself. Immediately, I started seeking for solution." He paused for a while and Adaora handed him a glass of water. "Thank you, my daughter," he said and drank the water. He cleared his throat and then continued again. "As a traditionalist, I visited all the dibia I knew. I offered offering to my she in search of answer, but the gods were silent. But 2 months ago, one of my friends from the neighboring village came to visit me. I narrated my son's predicament to him, and he promised to take me to a great dibia in his village. Oke Aguye is the great dibia," he said, pointing to the old man sitting on the floor. "When we visited him, he performed some ritual and the gods finally revealed everything to him. Your daughter here is cursed, and she is the cause of her own predicament, and quite unfortunate, the curse will also affect any man that proposes marriage to her." Everyone was quiet. Adaora was confused but not shocked. After all, the happenings in her life is a proof that she is cursed. But why? Why am I cursed? Who cursed me? And for what reason? This thought ran through her mind. Just as she was about to ask why she was cursed, Udoka's father continued speaking. The chief priest here will tell you the reason of this curse. The dibia coughed and cleared his throat as he began speaking. About 14 years ago, when Adaora was 11 years old, she made a mistake. At the age of 11, Adaora was a very smart and vibrant little girl. She talks a lot and was very mischievous. On that very day, she was coming from school with her friend when they met an old woman on the roadside begging for alms. The old woman begged Adaora and her friend for money for food. Adaora's friend gave the woman a 1 naira coin that she has with her. Adaora, on the other hand, who has always been very neat since childhood, felt disgusted at the old woman look and especially her brown and black teeth, and also the odor that comes out of the old woman mouth due to the lack of proper care. She insulted the old woman, threw some money on her and asked her to go buy toothpaste and toothbrush. And when the old woman was about thanking her for the money she threw at her, she shouted at her. Out of annoyance, the old woman cursed her. A big silence engulfed the room. Everyone was shocked. Her parents were shocked at the revelation. Adaora, on the other hand, remembered everything. She started crying. A mistake she made as a child has ruined her life. I am the cause of my own predicament. Oh, not just me, but also all my suitors, she cried. Stop crying, my daughter, the chief priest said in a trembling voice. There is a solution. Adaora cleaned her eyes quickly and her eyes brightened in hope and expectation. The gods has revealed that the solution is for you to go beg the old woman. But there is a problem. The old woman is no more. But the task is for you to find where she was covered and beg for her forgiveness. Don't go empty-handed. Once her spirit accepts your apology, the curse will be reversed and all your suitors will find their voice again. After the revelation, the chief priest packed his things and left with Udoka and his parents and the two elders. Adaora took her parents to the junction where she met the old woman. Luckily for her, the shop owners there knew the old woman very well. She was a popular beggar. They also took her to the place where she was covered. Adaora knelt down at the spot and begged for her forgiveness. She cried and pleaded. Her parents also joined her. They knelt down and pleaded on their daughter's behest. They also went with some gift items as the priest instructed. They went home hoping for the best. After 2 days, she received a call from an unknown number. When she picked it, it was Udoka speaking from the other end. Her joy knew no bound. The curse has been broken, and now she is free. All the men are also free. The men wants nothing to do with her again, apart from Udoka, who genuinely loves her. After a few months, Adaora gets married to Udoka, and the lovely couple live happily and peacefully. The story of Adaora should be a lesson for kids, young adults and even parents. Guide your tongue. Never look down on anyone no matter their situation. Do let us know where you are watching us from. Thanks for watching this video. Like, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime we upload a new video. Also share this video with family and friends. I will be seeing you next time with another wonderful tale. Thank you for watching this video, and for now, do have a wonderful day and stay safe. Bye.